Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Waldo and this is part 5 of the Duramax project build series. In this video we're going to be installing some sweet tow mirrors on this truck. This is Brandon, my 2005 GMC 2500 HD. I bought it at a salvage auction and at only $3,400 I got a heck of a deal. It has the highly desirable 6.6 liter Duramax V8 diesel engine. My goal is to modify this truck tastefully while bringing it back to its former glory. Now this is my second set of tow mirrors from Boost Auto Parts. Last year I installed my first set on my come-and-swapped GMC project truck, and I liked them so much that when I bought this truck, which does not have tow mirrors, it was really a no-brainer to get a second set from Boost Auto Parts. I will put a link in the description below to the tow mirrors. They do make mirrors for a lot of different types of trucks, not just these. So if you are looking for a set of tow mirrors, there's a good chance they have a set that'll fit your truck. Well, everybody likes a good unboxing video, so let's take a look at what is in here. It's pretty well packaged. We got Rhino here, he's gonna help me. He loves helping me unbox things. I think when I unboxed the mirrors for my other truck, he was also helping me. Good boy. So yeah, we got very similar mirrors to the ones I put on my other truck because this is what I really like. We got chrome caps. I like the amber dotted LEDs. You can also get these smoked, and you can actually get strip LEDs which look more modern, but I think this is appropriate for the truck that this is going on. Over here on the other side, we have the marker lights here for the turn signal. We have high output spotlights over here, and the upper and lower panes here are actually heated, which is really nice if you live in a climate that gets wet from time to time. I think we will probably start with the passenger side over here because that is the mirror that's on the top of the box. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to remove this door panel, and that'll give us pretty good access to install the mirror. So I got some trim to remove. I probably should be using a plastic trim removal tool, but you know, we'll use what tools we have. We'll just lift up here, pop this out. And we got a bunch of connectors in the back. Easy as pie. Removing the actual mirror itself is really easy. Just got to loosen up these wires. I'm just going to cut some electrical tape here. Pull out the foam, set this aside, and then we got 3 10mm bolts. And the old mirror just comes right out pretty easily. Pretty easily. As for the wires coming out of this thing, so this orange wire is for the running lights. The black and the blue connectors here plug right into the door panel there. And then this gray and white connector here, this is for the white spotlight facing the rear of the vehicle and also for ground. Yeah, so this rear-facing white light, they have you wire this up by default to turn on with your reverse lights, but personally I prefer it to come on with a switch in the cab, and this is just the same way that I did it on my other truck, Billy Bob. I have this white light here and the lights on the headache rack wired to a switch on the dash so that I can just flip those on and they come on as work lights. So that's just my personal preference. So these 3 wires are going to need some extensions here that we will run through the cab to the other side of the truck. And we have some for the gray and white wires as well. Yeah, so when you're running your electrical connectors through this thing, you're gonna need a snake, an electrical snake, or in this case, I'm using a coat hanger because I am so disorganized that I cannot find my electrical snake. Well, now that I have all of these wires run through into the truck, I can reassemble this door panel, and I think I'm gonna do it the easy way. Nice. When you reinstall the door lock control on the vehicle, just remember to have the red part towards the rear of the vehicle. Also, if you ever have a hard time remembering which position means locked and which position means unlocked, just imagine you're in Detroit, where GM is headquartered. If it's showing red, that means you're in danger of being carjacked because your doors are unlocked. If it's showing black, well, you're still in danger of being carjacked, but that means they'll have to break the window in order to get in. I just wanted to take a quick moment here to admire the tow mirrors now that they're physically installed. I still have to do the wiring, so let's get to that. All right, over here on the passenger side, I have all these trim pieces back together. And then I have the wires run in this split loom here, which will give a nice clean installation. And then over here on the driver's side is where everything sort of comes together. We have the wires over here coming from the passenger side. These wires right here are coming from the driver's side mirror, and they're all going to join up and go through the firewall to the fuse box. So these are the two wires that are going through the firewall. The orange is for the running lights, and then the white is going to go to the lights that will be on the headache rack that I'm going to build when I build the flatbed for this truck. So now I just got to pull these through this little boot thing down here. Oh, look at that. Works like a charm. So as for these two wires, I'm going to set the white one completely aside because that's going to go to the back of the truck to the bed. And this is really the only one I need to worry about. Now they give you these nifty little fuse taps. These are really cool because we're going to get power out of the trailer park fuse, which is this 15 amp fuse right here. We'll take this fuse, we'll plug it into this little thing on the bottom here, this little slot. And now I can take this, plug it into that spot where that fuse was, and that fuse will still work, but it supplies power to this lead right here. So I can go ahead and attach this wire to this, and it'll give me the power I need with this little yellow-orange fuse here. So this fuse tap has a crimp connector on it, which is convenient and all that, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off because I'm not going to use it. Well, I'm a big fan of when you're making automotive connections to solder your connections. To me, it's really important because it prevents corrosion from getting in there and ruining your connections over time. I'm also going to use some heat shrink on this, which will help seal the connections up. So by twisting these together, it sort of mechanically holds the wires together, which makes it a lot easier for me to solder them. So while soldering these connections is not strictly necessary, it really is the best practice because it will give you the best results and it'll last the longest. Also, soldering irons are cheap and they're really not hard to use, so there's not really any excuse to do anything but solder your connections. Now, you do not need to use a heat gun like this. You could use like a lighter or something like that if that's all you have, but the heat gun is a nice way of doing it. Nice, and this connection should last a really long time. And I guess one last thing, if you are going to have your rear-facing lights work with your reverse lights, then you would bring the white wire for that up here, and you would plug it into this 10 amp fuse trailer backup, which is right in here. You can't see it, but it's a red fuse right here. Yes, look at what just came in. We got mallets, ball peen hammers, a little miniature sledgehammer, brass hammer, there's a tack hammer in there. I mean, yeah, I got some other stuff like some bits and sockets and whatnot, but those are nowhere as useful as hammers are. Look at that glorious selection of tools of persuasion. Yeah, I got a new toolbox. I'm trying to be a little bit more organized, so this should help a lot. Back in the cab here, I also got these ground wires here soldered onto a ring terminal and attached to that stud right there. And with that said, let's try out the running lights and see what they look like. Yeah, those work, and they're looking pretty good. So all that's next is to wire up the high output rear-facing floodlights. Alright, so my goal is to have the rear-facing lights be controlled by this switch right here, which is the cargo lamp switch that lights up the bed of the truck, or it would light up the bed of the truck if this truck had a bed. The problem that makes this a little bit more complicated is that this switch is what we call ground switched. That is, that this switch is located on the ground side of the light. The lights on the mirrors, however, expect the input to be positive switched, and it's the same for the lights that are going to be on the headache rack. They also expect to be positive switched. That means the switch would be on the positive side of the light. Now, we can still use this switch, it's just a little bit more complex to wire up, and we need to do it by using a relay. All right, so I got everything wired up with this relay down here, and I'll show you how I did it. All right, so all these white wires, these are the white wires that go to each mirror, and the thick one there goes to the lights on the headache rack. Those attach to the blue wire here, which is the main power output of the relay, which is pin 87. The power input to the relay is this red wire, and I ran that through a spare fuse on the fuse box here under the dash, and that connects to the white and the red wires. The red wire really is the power input, and the white wire is the control wire for the relay. The red is pin 30, and the white is pin 86. And then lastly, the black wire here, this is pin 85 on the relay, and this is the ground for the relay control. This actually gets run up to the switch for the cargo light. The yellow wire here, which is pin 87A, is not used, so I just capped this with some heat shrink. You can just use a standard automotive relay for this type of thing, and I think I bought a 5-pack of relays for another project, and I had one left over here, and it came with this connector with the wires so that I could easily connect my wires to this. All right, I'll set you up right there so when we test this out, you can see that light, and you can also see the mirror behind me. All right, here we go. So that should be on and off. On and off. Yeah, really cool. They both work. All right, I want to do a little bit of a test of the heated mirror functionality. It's about 24 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and I'm going to take a spray bottle of cool water, spray this down, probably wait till it freezes, and then we'll see how it works. All right, that should be good. All right, well, I don't know how long it's going to take to freeze, but it's getting a little bit late. It's almost 11:30 p.m., and I'm getting impatient, so let's just go ahead and start the test. All right, well, you can see that they definitely work, both the top and the bottom. I went ahead and started the engine just to make sure that these had enough voltage to work properly. If you look at the top, you can even see steam coming off of them. Well, here it is, and I think it looks great. It's definitely gonna need some roof marker lights though to finish off the look, so let me know down in the comments if you guys have any recommendations of what I should do for those. Also, once again, I will put a link to the tow mirrors down in the description. So the channel is getting really close to 100,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for all of you who have subscribed, and for those of you who watch the videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is your chance to get in before we hit that milestone. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.